Hi, everyone. Welcome to Payments. My name is John Gaffney. I'm Chief Content Officer here. And our topic today is AP automation generally. And here to discuss that topic, as well as some other things, is Ernest Rolfson, who has spent 10 years in the payments processing industry as a strategy and business development executive. He is currently CEO of Finexio, and that's what we're here to talk about today. Ernest, welcome.
Great to be with you. Thanks for having me.
So Ernest, tell us a little bit before we start into the questions proper here about Finexio, what you guys do and what your unique value prop is.
Yeah, Finexio is an infrastructure as a service platform. We are delivering something that we coined called accounts payable payments as a service. And we embed integrated payables for B2B payments within the world's largest accounts payable and procurement software companies. We're the global leader in this space. We have the most and the world's largest AP2P software platforms that are enabling and delivering payments to their end users, fully delivered through the Finexio platform, infrastructure, API, and payment rails.
Okay, thank you for that. I'm also interested to know how you position the company, because you do technically probably have some competitors out there, but none of them really landed on fraud detection and defense the way Finexio did. I want you to know if you could talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so the positioning is really firmly in the camp of us being an infrastructure provider around enabling business payments for large corporates, delivered through these AP2P platforms that these corporates are using today to find and manage suppliers, approve and buy goods, manage and approve and route invoices, and end with a payment. And we really saw that this marriage of accounts payable workflow and payments was completely disconnected and missing largely in the industry, and we wanted to go and enable and deliver that. And that's again what we do today. But core to that, you really can't be in the payments business without some really critical table stakes capabilities around fraud detection, prevention, AML, OFAC. Some of it is federally required and mandated. Some of it is required by the financial institutions we work with. We work with the largest and most stable and secure in the world, JP Morgan, for instance. But we've taken concrete steps to really productize that and deliver and communicate those capabilities in a clear and value-driven standpoint, so that the partners that we work with, the software companies who care very much about staying outside of that scope, and the corporates who we deal with, we work with many multi-billion-dollar public universities, so almost like government institutions that really, all of our clients care deeply about the trust and safety of their money and where their money is, and knowing that they have confidence in that. But further, it's around the driver of wanting to stay secure, wanting to prevent fraud, and knowing that that world is moving so fast. We've really stepped up in a major way to say, let's make sure there's an understanding of this, but let's deliver wherever we can more transactional value in every transaction. And this fraud thing is, again, the biggest and most important thing we hear from customers today in B2B payments.
Any specific kinds of fraud that they've been most concerned about?
Yeah, I think there's two main areas. One is, and it has just exploded over, I think 300% growth it's been in the last several years, in paper checks. And the number one way to do that is crude and manual. It is to just not send paper checks. But to do that, you have to have a great service, you have to have a great culture, you have to have great electronic options to make it easy to not send or receive paper checks. So that's something we focus on and deliver. So a lot of the fraud is in the checks. That's where the most fraud is. If you cut your checks, you cut 60% of your fraud right there. You're just gone, eliminated, zero. The other fraud is around ACH fraud. ACH is 50+ year old technology that is completely bare bones. and has little to no security methods around it. All of that lives in the outside systems in and around storing, collecting, validating personal information, corporate information, bank account information, and protecting that and really validating that information when it is changing and making sure you know who and how you're dealing with in an electronic way, because that point of the change is where corporates are being targeted, right? If you're a major university, they will call your, $45,000-$50,000 back office staff are not trained payments fraud prevention experts and try to communicate false information over the phone. And these staffers are great people, smart people, hardworking people. They do not have the tools to go and do that. And the last thing you'd want to do would be doing that manually anyway. But that is the sad reality, and that is where the fraudsters are attacking ACH, and I don't blame them. It's ripe for disruption. That information is stored in unsecuritized, corporate data sets and platforms that just account numbers laying out there. Not very good.
No, not. Do you have something called the Finexio Shield? Can you tell us about that a little bit?
Yeah, Finexio Shield. We thought the name was cheeky and that we want to be that fortress, standing guard over providing that safety over their payment life cycle. And it's about the things that we talked about, right? It's the best in class account validation, right? It's the know your customer, know your supplier, right? It's the AML compliance, and it's the real-time monitoring around the payment transactions. And it's the change management and validation process I talked about when you do have that risk of that fraud vector, where I'm calling in or contacting you to make a change. How do I know who you are? How do I know that you're associated with that business? How do I know you're confirming that information? How do I know that it's not been compromised? That's where Shield does a powerful job. And what we're saying is, in addition to that, by the way, every client that works with us gets this already. This is table stakes. I think the unique thing, and we're sticking our neck out there in a powerful way, as we said, we believe this process is so strong, so unique, so powerful. We got it audited, and we've had zero fraud losses. And we went to the insurance market and we got custom fraud underwritten insurance to additionally protect us and our clients. And so we are willing to offer a guarantee against fraud if you and your suppliers follow our Loctite Shield protected process. You will have no fraud, and we will guarantee it.
Oh, wow.
In the $1 million range, which is unheard of. We've never seen anything like that. And you can only do this with years of running a process like this that you have enough faith in, and again, have the track record in to be able to go and do this, because no one's going to underwrite you for taking on millions of dollars of payment fraud if you don't have the goods to back it up, right? And
right.
That's what we've done. So this is a big problem. We said we have to do this because payments are just a commodity. That's what banks sell. We're not selling a commodity. We sell and provide a very powerful payments enablement as a service platform. And that's what corporates are looking for. And that's what these software companies are looking for. Fraud has to be a core component of that. It just is. And it always has been for us.
Let's zoom back out a little bit. What are some of the other issues that you've been focused on for the first half of the year? And tell me some of the things you're focused on for the back half of the year.
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, we have been working on the Shield item for quite a while, as I mentioned. In addition to that, we have been making additional other major product investments in and around the things our clients really care about, which is driving business value results and analytics around understanding the value of each transaction, the value and the transparency around how suppliers and businesses are leveraging this in a way that is saving our clients on average hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. The other is around delivering more electronic payments that far exceeds the national benchmark averages, particularly around virtual card adoption. And so we have a product called Card by Mail that we may talk about here that allows you to not only increase your virtual card adoption. We have clients where we're delivering card penetration of their accounts payable at about 20%. And the national average is corporates using card only get about 7% of their spend on a card. So we're delivering an order of magnitude of greater results on average with virtual card adoption, which is extremely secure, drives hard dollar cost savings, and drives significant cash flow benefit and cash back earnings. So with this card by mail solution, we're going deeper and deeper into the supplier base, into the spend file. And the value here is we're eliminating more checks. We are 80% of the cost is in the 20% of the dollars. And that is why banks and other fintechs, they've paid no attention to this area, because it seems like, hey, from a payments value standpoint, it's not there. Well, guess what? We're here to deliver value to our clients and help solve our clients' problem. They want to reduce their costs. They want more automation as much as possible, and they want no fraud. And so we are laser focused on destroying the checks, eliminating the fraud risk, and delivering more card. So it's completely backing up our value proposition, doing things in a unique way that no other provider in the world is doing, and having it be complementary to their existing workflows. That's what is really resonating with folks. So major focus on in this area.
You kind of stole my next question, which was about the virtual card by mail program.
Yeah,
So,
but
can you talk about that
we can expand
more?
on that. Yeah. I think the thing on that is, so we've said, look, there are so many businesses now that are just still learning about virtual card. It is the fastest growing payment method. It's growing on average about 15 to 20% a year, every year. MasterCard is pushing it aggressively. Visa is pushing it aggressively. The banks are pushing it for all these benefits I mentioned. Very secure, cost savings, better data, by the way, right? And the fraud reduction. But again, it scales to a point, right? It's, if you're trying to do this by hand, it's quickly beyond a human scale problem. And that's what our platform comes and unlocks for our clients. We have customers that have to pay 10,000 different businesses a year. You need to be able to get them a payment method. So with card by mail, we're saying, hey, we can now pay more businesses with a card, even if we don't have their email address. And that's the biggest unlock that we can deliver, because look, most businesses today in the United States are receiving paper invoices. It is a sad reality. Those invoices typically just have an address, and the system of records, the accounting systems, the AP platforms that most of the 22 plus trillion, 24 trillion of commerce in the country, that's where that data lives. And the data is just addresses. So Finexio, if we can't get that email, but we have extremely high confidence we can get a payment made by card, let's send them a card in the mail and then prod them to give us electronic information so they can get off of the mail and get into digital. So it's a great lead in. It is highly scalable. It is very low cost. And we built this platform. It is card issuer agnostic. It is bank agnostic. It is network agnostic. Any virtual card provider in the United States, any bank can leverage this technology, because again, we're an infrastructure provider. We are creating more value for everyone. All boats are rising in the tide, and we can simply deliver more cards to more businesses that already accept and want virtual card. That is the most powerful thing that we're doing.
Wow. That's great. That's a cool little spin on the concept, I must say. It's
we're
neat.
about helping others, and that ultimately, if you do a good job for the industry, if you do a good job for your partners, if you do a good job for your customer base, it's gonna reflect back to you. And that's our culture.
So last October, you debuted a supplier enablement network that was powered by AI, and of course, I have to ask a question about AI. But how does AI play in the Finexio ecosystem?
AI really unlocks and powers everything that we've been talking about previously in this discussion. We've been investing in AI for years using various third-party tools before it really became in vogue. I would say, though, once these models came out and more enabling services came out where you could do more custom work and you could do advanced training on some of this, we jumped all over that. And so the biggest opportunity for us, we have paid about 300,000 different businesses here. We've been around 9 years. And in any given month, we're paying about 50,000 different companies. Where we said where we want to really push harder in AI is around optimizing who we're paying, how we're paying. Let's get to them faster. Let's get the right offers and right payment methods to the right businesses faster, all in an attempt for speed, to drive conversion, to drive customer happiness, they want to get rid of the checks and want to get rid of the checks tomorrow, and to drive supplier happiness as well. They want the right payment method offered. From a cost saving standpoint, it's less physical phone calls we have to make and allows us to keep our costs down, not drift into the world of being the more you grow, the more heads you have to add, which our investors and our partners really appreciate, right? Because I can put that money towards other great innovations, and just deliver better on the promise. So we now, with this AI investment, again, targeted at the supplier network, we have an over 90% plus accuracy rate in predicting the ability to take a virtual card. And so that, again, lets us deliver on the security promise, because cards are just, again, versus a check, 1,000% more secure. And with the card by mail, we have to know with very high believability that we can get the payment to the right person. And we do the vast majority of time, and it's backed by this AI. So it powers the whole thing now. It increased our accuracy tremendously. We've saved tens of thousands of dollars by deploying this, and future headcount alone, and deliver a better experience is based on this unbelievable technology that's now available. But we do have an advantage of 9 years of payments history and this network and our own expertise to come and really tweak this in a way to make it very specific for our supplier enablement, supplier management, and payment delivery framework. That's powerful. And I've not heard of any other player in the sector doing anything like this.
No.
We're way advanced in this area.
Yeah, I haven't either. So final question, Ernest.
Mm-hmm.
Back half of the year, here we go. Second half of 2024. What's it take to automate and get rid of the paper?
What does it take? I think it's less technology than you would think, John, to be honest. I would really say it's courage is really what it's going to take. It's really courage to say enough is enough. And say, I want to make a change. We need to make a change. And I wrote an article about this recently regarding suppliers. Businesses you pay are not your customers. And what we see most often is businesses treat them as if they were. And I think that you do have certain strategic supplier relationships that need to be treated, different payment terms, different discounts, different negotiations about method of payment, form, and delivery factor, right? But the vast majority is not that. And if you're concerned about the fraud, if you're concerned about the cost saving, you can unilaterally as a business say, we're not going to send any paper checks anymore. We're just not going to do it. And it's not. There was a New York Times front page article, I think 2 days ago now, that said, talked about businesses literally outlawing checks and even charging businesses, payees, suppliers, starting to charge $1 for every check. And I completely applauded that article. It's now in the liberal mainstream media and front page, that this is a serious problem that is plaguing businesses across the country. Now, you're going to be able to do this faster, better, cheaper, stronger, more secure with a Finexio or the nearly 20 different accounts payable, procure to pay, and banks that we power with our capabilities. I mean, and these are very forward-thinking, leading global entities that are powering nearly 300 billion of spend today. We're looking for more of those companies to raise their hand and say, yes, I do want the payments module. I do want to turn on Finexio Pay as part of my software suite of how I'm managing suppliers, and realizing you can be, if you desire, with Finexio, you can be paperless on the very first day of working with Finexio. That is a very serious promise that I put my entire reputation on, that I can and my team can deliver that for you. But it goes back to my first comment, John. You have to have the courage and wherewithal to want to be paperless, sleep well at night, have the fraud go away, literally gone, and sleep better at night and have a better experience for your team, your financial back office. It's management and it's people. And that's what makes the world go round.
Paperless
People
on the
working with
first day. I
people.
love it.
People working with people.
All right, good stuff. Hey, that's a wrap for this episode of Payments TV. My guest has been Ernest Rolfson, who's the CEO of Finexio. Ernest, thanks for joining us.
A pleasure. Really enjoyed it.